This is the Askar SQA55 quintuplet refractor telescope with a focal length of 264 mm. With its relatively short focal length, this telescope is well suited for wide-field astrophotography. In this video, I would like to use this telescope the very first time for deep sky astrophotography. So join me for a new night of astrophotography from my backyard. But before introducing the equipment, I would like to mention that this video is not sponsored and not being paid for it. And all products shown in this video were purchased by myself. And the opinions about these products are my own. This telescope has a focal length of 264 mm and an aperture of 55 mm, which results in a focal ratio of f4.8. This telescope is a quintuplet telescope, which means it has a well-corrected image which is perfect for deep sky astrophotography. This telescope comes with a nice carry case, which is great if you would like to use this telescope for your astrophotography trips. Furthermore, you can remove the dew shield of this telescope, as well as the guide scope mount and this plate down there, which makes it a very portable telescope. So if you're planning to use this telescope for your astrophotography trips, or if you would like to have a very portable telescope, this is definitely a great telescope. Something that makes this telescope very special is the aperture of this telescope. So here you can change the aperture of this telescope, so you can select an aperture between f4.8 all the way up to f22. I've taken different test images with this telescope, and the telescope performs great when using it wide open. So when planning to use this telescope for deep sky astrophotography, I definitely plan to use it wide open. Furthermore, you have this focuser right here. So this is for focusing this telescope, and this is the fine focuser, which is very helpful for astrophotography. So I've tested this telescope yesterday, so the focusing system, and having this focusing system makes focusing very easy. Since I'm planning to use this telescope for wide field astrophotography, I would like to use a full frame camera in combination with this telescope. This telescope allows you to rotate your camera, so you can, for example, move the entire telescope, or you can just move your camera. But now I would like to introduce the entire setup that I plan to use for tonight's astrophotography session. So the mount I would like to use is the HEQ5 Pro go-to mount. On the top I've attached my new telescope, which is the Askar SQA55. At the back of this telescope I've attached my full frame camera, which is the Canon EOS 60A. So it's an astro-modified camera. On the top I've attached my guide scope, and at the back of this guide scope I've attached the CWO ASI 120mm mini mono guiding cam. Right there I've attached my Astro computer, which is the CWO ASI Air Pro, which helps me to control the entire deep sky astrophotography setup tonight. So this is actually the entire setup I would like to use for tonight. So now we have to wait until it's dark enough, and then I plan to focus the telescope and start taking the very first images of a deep sky object with my new Askar SQA55. Last night everything went quite according to plan, and as you can see, I was able to capture images of the region I have planned to capture. So right now you can see a light frame I've captured of the region I've planned to capture. So you can see the two galaxies in the center of the image. So you can see one galaxy right there and another galaxy right there. In this image there are a few other galaxies, but these are the two main galaxies. So there's another one, but this is the image I've captured yesterday. So this is just a single light frame, so just one image I've captured. So this image has a total exposure time of 3 minutes, and I've used an ISO value of 1600. So usually I do use an ISO value of 800, but in this case I've decided to use a higher ISO value because the camera I've used has less noise compared to other cameras, and as you can see it worked quite well. So this is the very first image I've captured with the Askar SQA55. So first of all I would like to look at the stars. So when looking at the center of the image, you can see that the stars do look relatively good. So unfortunately the telescope was not 100% in focus, unfortunately, therefore the stars are a bit bigger, but in general the stars do look quite good in the center. So you can see the stars are very round, so it looks very good, so the tracking was quite good. So when looking at these images, it's very important to take a closer look at the corners, because usually problems are in the corners with these stars. So in this case I've used a full frame camera, and when using full frame cameras for astrophotography, sometimes you will have problems with these stars in the corners. Therefore I would like to take a closer look at the corners right now. So as you can see in this image, the stars do look very good, especially in these corners. So the stars do look very good, and even in the edges the stars do look very good. So in this case this image is not cropped, so this is the image I've captured with my camera, and as you can see the stars do look very good. So they are very round, and even when looking at the other edges, so for example right there, you can see that these stars still look very good. So they are perfectly round even here in the edges. And even when looking at the region right there, you can see that the stars do look very good as well. But unfortunately I had a few problems with this region right there. So when zooming in, you can see that these stars are not looking that good. So you can see that these stars are not perfectly round. So all of these stars in that region do not look that good. So in this case, you can see that the stars do look very good in the center. So they are round and they look very good. So when these stars do look very good in the center, it's not due to the tracking. So the stars are round. Therefore, in this case, the tracking was not the problem. Therefore, in this case, I think it's due to the telescope. So now there are different reasons why the stars don't look that good in that region right there. So on the one side, it could be due to the telescope itself, and on the other side, it could be due to the camera. So when using full-frame cameras in combination with a telescope, it's very important that your camera is aligned very, very good. So in this case, the problem could be that the camera was not aligned very good in combination with the telescope. So right now, I'm not sure why these stars don't look that good right there. So I definitely have to take test images in the next few weeks in order to test this telescope once again. So I really hope that it's only due to the camera and not due to the telescope. I have already stacked the images I've captured yesterday. So this is the stacked image. So this image has a total exposure time of, I think, 5 hours. So this is a stacked image of the images I've captured yesterday. So in this case, once again, when zooming in, you can see that these stars do not look that good in that region. So they are not round. So I really hope that it's only due to the camera. So in this case, I have not used calibration frames. I just wanted to check how the image looks. So actually, I've only planned to capture this region of the night sky for one night, but right now it looks like there will be perfect conditions for the next few nights. So in total, I should be able to capture this region of the night sky for the next 6 nights, I guess. So it looks very good. So I definitely plan to capture this region once again over the next few nights in order to collect even more exposure time. So if everything goes according to plan, I will be able to capture something like 30 hours of total exposure time. So this is definitely the longest exposure time I've ever captured of a deep sky object. So I really hope that I will be able to capture this region over the next few nights. So I really hope that I can capture enough exposure time in order to capture an amazing image of this region. So in this case, you can even see that more and more structures are visible in those two galaxies. So I'm definitely excited for the final image. So as I have mentioned, I definitely plan to capture this region of the night sky for the next few nights, and then I plan to combine these light frames with calibration frames. That should help me to reduce noise in my final images, and that should help me to improve the final image. So I definitely plan to capture this region for the next few nights, and I really hope that I can achieve a total exposure time of more than 30 hours. So that should be enough in order to capture an amazing image. So wish me luck, and we'll see us later. The next few nights, the conditions were perfect for deep sky astrophotography. There were no clouds and there was no full moon, so I was able to capture the region for the next few nights. In total, I was able to achieve an exposure time of 30 hours. After capturing all of these images, I stacked and combined all of these images and was able to create this picture. This image has a total exposure time of more than 30 hours. In total, I'm very happy with the image and with the telescope itself. Unfortunately, these stars still do not look that good in one region of this image. So I definitely have to capture more images, and I really hope that it's only due to the camera and not due to the telescope. But this is definitely the longest exposure time I've ever captured of a deep sky object. So in summary, I'm really happy with the image and with the telescope itself. If you have any further questions about the image or about the telescope, definitely feel free to ask me down below in the comments. And if this video was interesting and helpful to you, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, clear skies, Felix.